Chapter 6. That night at Jade's house. Jade, you're joking. Nolan gasped upon hearing me. I told him about the pictures I saw on Oswald's computer. I wish I was. My mother was pregnant. He shook his head. Do you think that's why I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Open my laptop and log into the cameras. I want to see what they're up to. He grabbed my laptop from the other side of the kitchen island and opened it. Both Victoria and Oswald were in their bedroom, getting ready for bed. Nolan clicked the tab with the covering footage. I invited Charlotte over for tea today, she told her husband while applying lotion to her skin. Geez, Victoria, I wonder why. He retorted sarcastically. I just wanted to get to know her. She told me she bought the house through Jade, Kimberly's daughter. I gritted my teeth. I could feel Nolan's eyes on me. Oswald turned so he was facing his wife fully. Really? Huh? Yeah. I also told her to stay away from you. I know you've got straying eyes. Oswald chuckled. My dear, leave that poor girl alone. She just moved here. It was just a warning. Surely you remember what happened to the last person you had an affair with. Oswald slammed his drawer shut. Victoria, she chuckled. Did I touch a nerve, Ozzy? Oswald shook his head and exited the room. Why are you upset? You're the one who killed her, she said even though he had already left their room. Close the laptop. I instructed Nolan, and he did it immediately. Char, are you okay? Of course, I'm not Nolan. She just casually spoke about my mother's death. I snapped at him. I sighed. I'm sorry, I'm just. He walked over to me and hugged me. It's okay. You're going to get your revenge. He pulled away. What's phase 2? I shook my head. Before I make another move, I need to do some more digging. I also cannot allow Jasmine to get too close right now, I said. The last part was more to myself than Nolan. Do you think you'll find anything worse than her carrying Oswald's child? I bit the inside of my cheek. I honestly don't know, but I'm anxious. I turned on my heels. Let's head down to the basement. We need to keep looking. He looked at me as if he was scared. Down in your basement, during the night? I almost laughed. Come on. I'll be there with you, plus I have light down there. He sighed but followed suit. There's a lot of stuff down here. Nolan spoke behind me as I switched the light on. You go through some boxes, and I'll check to see if there are any more secret compartments or whatever. He nodded and headed over to where the boxes were. I traced my fingertips lightly over the wall of the basement. Why? Why? Tell them that it's human nature. I sang the lyrics, smiling. My mother really loved that song. She loved all of Michael Jackson's work overall, and she was a huge fan. She would tell me stories of when she and Grandpa would go see him in concerts. I remember being 8 years old and watching her cry hearing over the news that MJ had passed. I kept humming the tune to the song. Char, come look at this. I took steps toward Nolan. He was holding a folder. I took it from him and opened it. The folder contained pictures and receipts. I held up one of the receipts. Charlene's. I read. It was a receipt from a restaurant. It's identical to all the receipts. Seems as if Oswald and my mom always had their dates there. I frowned and looked at the other contents in the folder. Pictures? They were all pictures of Oswald and my mom, both laughing and smiling. They're kissing in some of the photos. It felt as if someone was squeezing my heart. Why did she have to fall for him? I knitted my eyebrows as my eyes caught something. It was a picture of an ultrasound. I looked at the imprinted date at the bottom to confirm whether it was mine or not. April 6th, 2011. Nolan, I squeaked. I shoved the ultrasound in his hand. So, she really was pregnant. We need to see if she left any thumb drive or something around with more media. Let's keep looking. I placed everything back in the folder and set them aside so that I could easily take them with me when leaving the basement. 1 hour later, it's been 1 hour and we've been through 5 boxes, and there are 6 more that we haven't touched. We'll go through those another time. We need to go through the contents of the folder and to try to put together stuff. Nolan nodded, making his way out of the basement. I grabbed the folder, then switched the light off before exiting and closing the door. We made our way into my childhood bedroom. I had turned it into a home office, so now it's going to be where I go over things my mom left behind. I'm going to grab my mom's journal from the safe, I announced before running across the hall into my room. Sly was on my bed, peacefully taking a nap. Once I retrieved the journal, I took a picture of him. I love how adorable he looks while taking his naps. I went back over to my office and closed the door. Nolan was already going through the receipts from the folder. They went there the 23rd of every month, he said, referring to the restaurant as I took a seat. Where's the restaurant? I've never heard about it before. Charlene's is 2 hours out of town. That makes sense. That's where they had the first date? Check for a receipt from January 23rd. He rummaged through the papers. Got it. Yup, January 23rd. The bill was generated at 3 p.m. I sighed. Her first entry was him inviting her out for lunch. Growing up, when I was on holiday and she was working, she always took her lunch at 12. So they leave the Hamptons at 12, drive for 2 hours, and dine for an hour. It adds up. While Nolan kept analyzing receipts, I opened her journal to where I bookmarked it last time. March 30th, 2011. I'm in trouble. The blogs are sending out paparazzi, and they're publishing. Oswald told me not to worry, but I can't help but feel horrible lately. By now, Victoria would have seen what they're saying, and I cannot face her. It's all my fault. I got caught up and ended up falling for my client, a married man, Oswald Fuego. I need to make this right. Victoria invited me to join her for afternoon tea, but I had to decline as I have not been feeling well lately and have set a doctor's appointment for tomorrow. I need to right my wrongs before things get out of control. I sucked in a breath. Victoria invited my mom for afternoon tea, just like she did with me. But she doesn't know that I'm Jade Livingston. As far as she knows, I'm Charlotte Sims, the new girl in town. I turn to the next entry. April 6th, 2011. I'm pregnant. I screwed up. I'm pregnant with Oswald's child. I need to figure things out. I am conflicted. Should I tell him or not? I already made up my mind to not get an abortion, but I don't think it would be safe for the baby or myself. Even Jade needs to be protected. I'll figure it out. I closed the journal. Mom, I whispered, fighting back tears. My heart was racing, and my brain was still trying to process everything. Brace yourself, Char. I looked over to where Nolan was. He held up a receipt. I was confused until he read it. Midas Touch Jewelers. Was it for a ring? I asked, hoping that the answer was no. But to my dismay, Nolan nodded. But I never saw my mom with a ring. The receipt got Oswald's name. The date on it is April 6th. I furrow my brows. That's the same day Mom found out she was pregnant. Why would she have a receipt? I quickly reopened the journal and looked for an entry where my mom spoke about getting a ring from Oswald, but there was none. The entry after was interesting, nonetheless. Nolan, listen to this. I took a deep breath before reading. April 10th, 2011. I sent the pictures to Oswald, but I haven't heard from him since. I can't help but get the feeling he was avoiding me. I stopped by his office yesterday. They told me that he was busy and couldn't stop to talk, which is strange because he once stopped a meeting to have a quickie with me in his office. Why am I even acting as if this is a joyous situation? He's married, and I'm pretty sure he did not intend for things to get this far. I won't stop until he talks to me about this. I finished reading and looked up at Nolan, who was just as shocked and confused as I was. Do you think he never proposed because of the pregnancy? Nolan finally asked after what felt like an eternity. That could be it. Oswald was clearly not happy. But I don't get it. Why buy a ring but draw the line at her getting pregnant? I looked up at the clock that was mounted on my wall. We'll continue tomorrow. I have an early appointment in the morning. Next day, Jade visits Jasmine's office. Hi, is Jasmine Francis in? I asked the receptionist upon entering the building where Nolan and Jasmine worked. Initially, I was against giving her the time of day, but I wanted to see what her deal was. Yes. Do you have an appointment to meet with her? I feigned a frown. No, but you could tell her Charlotte is here to see her. She nodded and took up the phone. After a minute, she gave her attention back to me. Second floor, door number 5. I thanked her, then walked away. Nolan says he trusts Jasmine, and I trust Nolan. I just want to make sure for myself that I can trust her around Nolan, because he knows a lot about me and has my sensitive information. I stepped off the elevator and made my way to her door. I knocked on it. Come in. I opened the door and stepped in, closing it behind me. She smiled at me before going back to what she was doing. Hey, she said, her eyes glued to the screen. Hi, I need to talk to you. She looked back up at me. Okay, she said slowly, looking at me. Jasmine, I started, but something tugged at my heart, the way her innocent eyes were set on me, giving me all her attention. I felt bad for what I was about to do. I know that you've taken a liking toward me, but I'm sorry. Immediately her face showed disappointment and sadness. My heart felt heavy, but I continued. I'm just not in the headspace to pursue anyone right now. I'm not capable of reciprocating affection or love right at this moment. I'm moved so I could heal from some stuff. I just feel like you deserve to know so that I don't lead you on or cause your expectations to be high, you know? She nodded, then cleared her throat. I get you. Thanks for letting me know. I took a deep breath. Thank you for understanding. Jasmine, I really am happy that you do. She stood up and walked to where I was. Does that mean we can't be friends? She asked. I don't know what it is, but she looked super innocent today. I laughed lightly. We can be friends, yes. But, she pursed her lips. There's a but? She questioned in a whining tone. But even our friendship has to start slow, she laughed. Yes, ma'am. I checked my watch. I have to go, but thank you so much for understanding. I pulled her in for a hug. I knew she was caught off guard, but she soon relaxed and returned the hug. We pulled away and I bid her goodbye.